So we have to take care of each other, even as we critique one another. We have to hold each other. Our journeys are tough. And no one has a journey tougher than you and your path. And so we stand with one another. And we appreciate the people who are here tonight, who are here holding us all to get us through finals and get us to graduation. One such person is the young alumni speaker who's come back, who I brought back, Michelle Kim. You can read Michelle's bio. But I met Michelle when they were a freshman. Wasn't living on what you now understand as Unity floor, but had joined the class. Yeah, you met me in the back of Wayne's car. Anyway, Michelle ended up working in GenEq and keeping me in check. Michelle is the founder of what you now know as the Queer Student Union. Michelle is the person that put together the only to this day, well, other groups have done queer youth in different ways, but Michelle was the founder of the one that did the queer camp on this campus. Y-Lead was it called?
Yeah,
exactly. And Michelle held it down at the system-wide level by checking administrators such as myself and others, as being part of the, what is now defunct, it was the University of California LGBTIQ Association Steering Committee, and has then moved on and is being on, kind of following my footsteps, but on the LGBT Advisory Committee for the Human Rights Commission in San Francisco. That's a tough committee, let me tell you. You can snap, but there's some really fucked up queers on that. No. And is holding it down, has left corporate America, worked for Deloitte and Touche, was like, no, it's just Deloitte. It's not all about that. And it's really pushing us, started their own consulting for women and people of color, because to really increase visibility for Cutie Park and women in tech and corporations. And it's out there kicking ass right now. Welcome Michelle back.
Thank you. Shit got real quick. And I want to, actually, before I start, ask you for your permission to be here, because this is such a sacred space. Is it okay for me to be here? Yeah. Thank you, that means a lot. And thank you. I see you. I see you doing that. I want to invite all of you to close your eyes if you want to, if you feel comfortable doing that. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Take another deep breath in. And breathe out. Check in with yourself right now. How are you? How are you feeling? Savor this moment. Right here, right now. You're here, and you will never get this moment back. This is your community, your net, the net that will catch you when you jump, when you need to be caught the most. Take another deep breath in. And breathe out. Open your eyes. Thanks for doing that. I'm really grateful to be here. So yeah, I was an intern at GenEq all throughout college. GenEq. I was known for fiercely protecting the office staplers and keeping Billy in check. making sure his desk is clean, although that didn't always work. I co-founded Queerster Alliance, now known as QSU, I recently learned. I was really glad to hear about the name change, so thanks for doing that. And in the same statement explaining the name change, I also read that the org, and I quote, has always been considered a white space. And that broke my heart a little bit. I want y'all to know that it didn't start out that way. And actually, the founders of QSA or QSU was me, two queer people of color, myself and a queer Latino man named Kevin Franco Torres. And our founding leadership team was predominantly black and brown queer women. And I think it's important for especially queer people of color to make sure that our story gets told and preserved. Because otherwise, it's so easy for it to get erased and co-opted. So, I had the privilege of working alongside some of the most radical queers in college. We created space for not out, low-income cutie POC youth in the Bay. We were recognized to be the most inclusive queer organization on campus with an award. So the point here is that we have to be vigilant about learning, protecting, and telling our history so that they don't get erased. So with compassion, I challenge all of you to do something that I clearly failed to do. Think about ways to institutionalize the historicizing of our movement so folks coming after you can build upon it. So I spent 6 years in management consulting and tech startups after I graduated with a degree in business, a choice I made after some straight white boy told me that I couldn't do it. That tells a lot about my personality there. I went into the corporate world because I thought that was the only way for me to become financially independent. And I needed the money to support myself and to bring my mom over here from Korea. And I attempted to preserve my ties to the social justice community so that I could really relinquish myself from the guilt that I was feeling. And I pursued financial gains because for me, money meant freedom. The freedom that my parents didn't have, the freedom that I so desperately wanted growing up watching my parents struggle. So even though I was really grateful to finally be able to support my family, the thought of not being able to pursue my dreams and my passion and truly live my life purpose constantly haunted me. I never felt free. So today, I'm pursuing freedom in a little bit different way. And I'd like to share with you 3 pieces of advice that I learned that I'm still learning on my journey to feel free. And if you haven't guessed already, freedom is my #1 value. So my first piece of advice is practice wanting. This sounds simple, but this is what a lot of people struggle with. Practice wanting. What do you want? At some point, I stopped wanting and started justifying my decisions based on my needs. I started confusing my needs and wants. I tell myself, I need to do this because I need to support my family. While this was true, at some point, I started justifying my using it as a way to respect fear more than my desires. And entrepreneurship is for rich white people, I tell myself. And society taught me not to want. I thought it's selfish to want. I thought I didn't deserve to want, at least not yet. We must unlearn this. If you don't believe that you deserve to want, now or ever, no one else will. Yes, take care of yourself and your family's basic needs. That's important. I get that. But be honest with yourself when your needs start to sabotage your dreams. And as Audre Lorde said, our visions begin with our desires, So if we're not able to articulate our desires, then we can't take action. So how do you practice wanting? Start by making small daily decisions based on your desires. Ask yourself, what do I want to be doing right now? Who do I want to be spending time with? What do I not want? And then eventually work yourself up to imagining your future, what you want to be known for, what your legacy should be. A month or so after I graduated from Cal, I got a fortune from a fortune cookie that read, "Don't give in to cynicism." And that's my second piece of advice for you. Resist cynicism through compassion. My first job at a consulting company, a senior manager thought LGBT stood for lesbian, gay, bisexual, together. The same person, a straight white woman, once asked me to pick out a document out of her trash can. When I created a women's group at a different company, a C-suite executive told me that that would ruin my career, that I shouldn't bring in politics into the workplace. I was once told by a woman executive that I should put my hair down, that I should smile more, that I should wear heels. I was told by many men to not be such a bitch, to not be aggressive, self-advocating, and bossy. I was sexually harassed during my first week at a new company, but unlike Uber, they were fired the week after. I made sure of that. But you see, as my rainbow bubble ripped, I got jaded. I asked myself, what's the point? And it got increasingly difficult for me to believe that a better, more just world was actually possible. I started losing my appetite for change, consumed by my growing hatred towards people and systems that were causing harm. And I hated myself for being a part of the problem. And with cynicism, I also lost my ability to feel compassion. I thought, in order for me to stay critical, angry, fueled, that I couldn't afford compassion for myself or others, because it felt like an excuse. But the truth is, we can and must feel anger and be critical and be compassionate all at the same time for us to keep going and for us to not feel so paralyzed. Because ultimately, my cynicism about people's intentions and their ability to change made me a terrible change agent. Erica Huggins, a former Black Panther leader and a political prisoner who was at EWOC this year, Empowering Women of Color Conference, it was an amazing event, said something that really resonated with me. She said, we should always look for a window in people to connect. Not because we want to change them, but because we need to be able to believe in humanity again. That forever changed my perspective on doing social justice work and how we invite people into our movement with compassion. This was liberating for me. So to pursue freedom, practice wanting, don't give in to cynicism through practicing compassion, and lastly, and probably most importantly, always remember that you are worthy. 2015 felt like the worst year of my life. I was at my lowest, burnt out, jaded from the toxic work culture. I'd lost both of my grandparents who raised me, suffered chronic stress that impacted my health and landed me in the ER. I had no capacity to be a leader, let alone a good friend. I could barely take care of myself. I felt like I had nothing left to give. And I felt like shit, worthless, helpless. And that year, I realized that my sense of self-worth was so closely tied to my ability to serve and give others. And so when I was not in a position to be able to give anymore, I started doubting my self-worth. I thought I didn't deserve the support that I was getting, that I didn't deserve to want, to feel joy, to pursue freedom, because I wasn't serving other folks. But my community, my net, folks who sat next to me during my Lavender graduation saved me. They reminded me that I am worthy for simply being. Not because of what or how much I was producing, not because I was serving the community, not because I was loved or affirmed by other people. You are worthy for simply being. Your existence in any and all capacity is resistance. And I promise you there is a queer youth out there who wish that they were you here on this very day. So I stand in front of you today as someone who recently decided to redefine what freedom and joy mean to me by finally making the jump. This past February, I quit my job to begin my own entrepreneurship journey. I'm now fully self-employed, working as a career coach and a co-founder of a social enterprise. I'm back to worrying about money, but this time, I'm allowing myself to truly examine my relationship with money and what freedom truly means for me. And this is an exciting and rewarding time for you all. You've accomplished so much, and you should be really happy. But you might feel a little sad too, scared. Give yourself permission to be not okay. Allow yourself time to think about what you're leaving behind. I didn't take the time to truly grieve the end of my chapter as a student activist. I tried to find ways to bring my radical student activist self to work. I thought that's how I could create change from within. I thought that's what it means to bring my whole self to work. What I realize now is that I needed closure to move on and to create a new identity within this new context in a way that still allowed me to feel empowered and authentic. I now know that my essence could be embraced in different ways, and that's okay. So think about what it is that you need to grieve and do whatever you need to do to memorialize and honor your time here so that you can truly begin your new chapter. Free yourself from the expectation that you need to continue your narrative in a linear way. Let go so you can allow yourself to adapt to your new and changing reality. And don't be afraid to evolve your identity based on all of the complexities and experiences and desires that you embody. If I can ask you to remember one thing, because all speakers do this, it's this. Your ability to pursue freedom and feel joy is the greatest threat to this fucked up world. Define freedom for yourself and find your joy. And when you struggle to remember this, remember that you have a net, which also includes a whole bunch of beautifully aging queers. Stay free. Thank you.